To me, art is self-expression. It's getting out all the demons, all the happiness, all that energy that's building up inside. As a child, my biggest inspiration was the comics that I would see in the newspaper every day. Some of the first art pieces that I created as a child were just simple illustrations. I originally went to school in 1998 at the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, and I went for industrial design. I did not get into painting until I was 27 years old, 28 years old. I had experimented with it, but started really taking it seriously when I was in my late 20s. When I first started to experiment with color, I would just pour it on the canvas, and they were beautiful in the way they would marbleize and come together, and the different style paints and the different colors would interact with each other. Really became an experience in itself, just watching it all come together. This switch, this transition, crossover was something that was bubbling beneath the surface for quite some time. This transition made me want to reject my past life and to have a rebirth. My vision of the future was a little bit more clear, so I was able to shed all that bright and colorful artwork for something a little bit darker. My current art is dark. It's definitely dark. It's really, for me, it's death. It's boxed in. It's pressure of life coming down on me. It's being told I have to look and act and be a certain way when I clearly don't fit in. So it's really about shoving that all in a box and just making it dark and saying this is the evil that society creates. I find all of my objects for the art along the railroad tracks or in certain train yards or around the surrounding areas, which is my community. It's real important for me that all the objects I collect are site-specific, and then I start laying them out in front of me, rearranging them. It's an endless process. Just seeing how the different shapes and forms and textures may work together to see the stories that each piece reveals to me. And then a lot of times I'll paint them black, and that whole process starts all over again, because when you remove the commercial aspects of objects, such as the logos or the colors, the objects take a whole different form and tell a different story. But I typically start with the construction of that box and put the elements, the objects into that box, and like I said, arrange them, rearrange them. And then it's just a matter of working within that space. How can I manipulate that space? The purpose of them is to bring awareness to the community of the South End and the community of Albany. There's also always the elements of the oil tankers I want represented, and the rest of the scenes are just oil tankers that have exploded, are being melted, and they're dripping on top of freight cars. All those oils come from underground, so they have to dig up the dirt, and the machinery and the industrial life has to bring it uphill to this elevator shaft, and then they put it on the trains, but the train's going downhill and off the edge. So what that signifies is humanity's ignorance in continually destroying the earth and pulling stuff from its core just to immediately send it downhill on the brink of extinction. I think a lot of people are scared to confront the darkness within them. Any of the anger, the sadness, the issues, they'd rather push it to the side. But for me, I'd rather get it out of me and force it into my artwork. So right now, I don't know what my future holds. I'm living in the moment and I'm focusing on my artwork and kind of seeing where the artwork takes me.